And then I just looking at the essence of it, like, what is he saying? And, sarcastic, like with these questions, is this what I told you to do? It's like when it's like you correcting your kids and they're like, is this really what I told you to do? No, I just wanted you to do the right thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to continue the task. So that means, Mom, you don't want me to do the dishes? Yes, I still want you to do the dishes. But the point is that you're supposed to be trying to help me, or you're supposed to keep the kitchen clean. So it's nice that you did the dishes, but you blew up the kitchen in the process.
Right.
And
then Leviticus
comes around and is like, so you don't want me to do the dishes then? She's like, yes, I want you to do the dishes.
It's the heart of the matter. It's how you're presenting.
Yeah,
you're presenting it. So if we take it back, let's bring it back to Leviticus. In Leviticus 27, it says, on the 10th day of the 7th month in Yom HaKippurim, it shall be a Kadosh gathering for you. And you shall afflict your beings and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And you do no work on that same day, for it is a Yom Kippurim, to make atonement for you before Yahuwah your Elohim. And he shall for any being who is not afflicted on that same day, he shall be cut off from his people. And any being who does any work on that same day, that being I shall destroy from the midst of the people. You do no work, a law forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. It is a Shabbat of rest to you, and you shall afflict your beings. On the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening to evening, you observe your Shabbat. So I don't see fasting in there. I don't see he's calling a fast in that passage, but he is saying afflict your beings. So, and I think in Isaiah, that's a good example, Isaiah 58, of the ways that you are to afflict your being. Is that what you're bringing, Couture? Is that what you're saying?
I thought that whole Isaiah 58 was a good explanation from trumpets to atonement, because it talked about us lifting up our voices, whether it be calling the assembly or calling for battle or whatever it is, and then how certain people were not afflicting themselves correctly. They were not fasting correctly, but for his people, he has called an affliction, a fasting, and he was showing us how to do it correctly so that we can rejoice in the blessings at the end of the chapter. And I like also how it wasn't only about us. We're not going to just receive blessings. It was also for the people around us. Where, like you talked about family, we were able to, if we were fasting correctly, afflicting ourselves correctly with Yahuwah's Ruach, he was undoing the bands of wickedness. He was loosing their oppression. And I think that's like what Evelyn was saying. That's the heart of the matter. It's not about a work or a show. Like, we really need to sincerely go before Yahuwah and ask, like, what would you have my being to do on this day?
Right.
Like, I don't know what you have for Ezzy to do, but what do you want my being to do? Because you know what I need in order to afflict myself. So most times I actually do fast, but I'm 8 months pregnant, so I'm probably not going to fast, but it doesn't exclude me. And I don't want any of us to ever get used to the looking for loopholes of not being able to do it because it's going to be hard, because it is difficult to fast on for a whole day, especially when you have children. But like I said, we just need to all sincerely go before Yahuwah and ask, what does he want our being to do?
Right. Hallelujah.
I think that hits that nail on the head. Like, you know, we can't push our personal convictions onto other people. Like, fasting for me is a walk in the park. I can fast. I could do that lemonade master cleanser fast, and it's not an affliction for me personally. And so, you know, there's other things that I would do to afflict my soul other than abstaining from food, you know. So I like the way you said that. You know, we have to individually seek Yahuwah to see what we are doing on that day, specifically when he doesn't, you know, say, I want you to fast. So, but we are to afflict our soul. So I really like that point you made.
Hallelujah. So if we take it to the word, if we take it to Strong's for the actual word Kippur, which is Strong's 3725, it says expiation. atonement, but it's the etymology of the word goes back to Strong's 3722, which 3722 is kafir, and it says to cover, to expiate or condone, to placate or cancel. Wasn't Yahusha our atonement to cancel out our sins? And that word stems from kafaf, which means to curve or bow down, to bend, bow down. I just think it's interesting how Hebrew, it always has a very, the words are related to one another. Some are action, some are doing words, some are, there's not an action, I can't remember the other one. There's an action word, and then I guess there's nouns. But a lot of the words involve doing something. So if we go to kafan, which is also it relates back to the etymology of kafar. It says hunger, as making to stoop with emptiness and pain. So it's almost like when you afflict something, even if we have our definition of afflicting something, you are causing pain, or you're causing some type of reaction to occur.
Or struggle, right?
Right. Okay. And that emptiness from hunger, or that emptiness that you feel from abstaining from doing certain things, that's where the affliction comes in for me. So, I mean, I like how you put it, Keturah, where, you want to pray to ask Yahuwah to, show us how we should be afflicting our beings. Because if we are looking to him in all matters, then we can't really stray. Go ahead, Beverly.
No, like just from remembering the experience I just had, I found like I did fast. I wanted to be on the safe side. Just in case you really want me to fast, I'm just going to do this, because I don't want to fight it. I don't want it to come from somewhere else. Is it pride? What is it that, let me just fast. Regardless of whether that's what you meant or not. I didn't want to be rebellious, but I found that because I was pretty much in a holy convocation all day, like there was a service and they did it from like 10 a.m. to like 4. Like I didn't have that much time to be worried about whatever else I was missing. Like it almost, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like, I think if I would have been at home in like with no TV, no cell phone, no food, I would have felt a lot more afflicted because I wasn't distracted by the worship and the service and everything that was going on at the time. So I don't know, that was just my experience. I was like, well, like turning off your phone, we all tend to get a little itchy when it comes to like, just disconnecting. But I just found that I was almost distracted from deep affliction of other things because of that. I don't know. I just called that to memory because I was like, I didn't really miss anything, not even the food, because I'm sitting someplace that was being not distracting because I was focused on the process of atonement. I mean, there was a lot of cleansing, a lot of stuff that went on, but I don't know. I just didn't feel as afflicted personally. And I put on like a sackcloth dress. I was itchy. But I think it is an individual situation. Like if fasting is a walk in the park, then that may not be the thing for you because it's like, well, I don't eat on a regular basis, so it's no big deal.
This is true. That I agree with that, because if we think of it as a child, when a child is hungry, if you have children, or if you remember when you were a kid, you do somewhat bend down in pain, or sometimes children can be dramatic and like, oh, I'm so hungry. It's just, because your being is being afflicted. But like you said, I like how you put that. If you're able to, if that's something that you're able to do, or like those who in Isaiah 58 who are afflicted because they are poor, because they're hungry, we have to go out and we should go out and feed them. They're afflicted all the time. So perhaps there is something else that we should be abstaining from so that the focus is on Yahuwah and what this day is about. And I just want to take it to Matthew 6. because we're going to close in about 10 minutes if anyone else wants to add anything else. But in Matthew 6, I'm just going to read from verse 2 to where does it talk about fasting? I'm going to read to 19, from 2 to 19. So I like how 19 ends. So it says, thus, when you do a kind deed, do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do, in the congregations and in the streets, to be praised by men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a kind deed, do not let your, and that's funny because we were supposed to do Matthew 6. That's funny. Anyways, but when you do a kind deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your kind deed shall be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret shall himself reward you openly. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray in the congregations and on the corners of the streets to be seen by men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you pray, go into your room, and having shut your door, pray to your Father who is in secret, who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. And when praying, do not keep on babbling like the Gentiles, for they think that they shall be heard for their many words. Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. This then is the way you should pray. Our Father who is in the Shemaim, let your name be Kadosh, let your reign come, let your desire be done on earth as it is in the Shemaim. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into trial, but deliver us from the wicked one, because yours is the reign and the power and the esteem forever. Amen. For if you forgive men for their trespasses, your Father of the Shemaim shall also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither shall your Father forgive your trespasses. And when you fast, do not be sad-faced like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so that they appear to be fasting to men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in the Shemaim, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. So I think that kind of brings it together on, what the heart of the matter is when you're fasting. Even though the word Kippur, the etymology of the word can be bending down and afflicting your being. We don't want to appear that way, like a child appearing to his mother that I'm hungry, to seek the attention of others. We're afflicting our beings for others, for those, for the people who do things, to be seen, for our family members, it's not really about us. It's about Yahuwah and his plan of salvation, which is to save the few. So I think that's a nice way to bring a closing to the word. But if anyone else has something to say about Kippur, go ahead, Katria.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I just wanted to say, no, that's fine. I just wanted to say that I think also when we seek Yahuwah as to how to afflict us, then he will show us, he will show us, because he can see what things in us still need to be yielded before him or still need to be surrendered. We can't see our heart like he can. So it behooves us to seek him, to humble ourselves and say, okay, Yah, I know your word says to fast and pray, but give me an understanding. What do you want me to do? Because it shows our humility before him. It shows him that he is sovereign even in that. And I think it's incredibly important, because when we humble ourselves before Yahuwah like that, even in how do you want me to carry out this part of your word that you have commanded me, then we can grow and get closer to him and be cleansed and purged like the intention is. as opposed to going through
Hallelujah.
again and not getting to the core of things that are keeping
Right.
us maybe going over the same bridge or, whatever the case. That's what
Hallelujah.
I say. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. It's definitely a hard thing. It's definitely a hard thing. We don't want to get caught up in the do's and the don'ts, because then we lose the value of what we're supposed to be doing and what we can receive to loosen up, those things. Anyone else wanna say anything? Katora, you got quiet. Where you at, sister? Milo?
All of my sisters are speaking for me. They're saying exactly what I'm thinking.
I guess Milo is still recording. We miss you, sister.
But Ezzy, I did want to say, I thought you did an excellent, excellent job facilitating. I thoroughly enjoyed this study.
Hallelujah.
Yes,
I've been in prayer all morning.
hallelujah. Yes.
It's all
Thank you.
Yahuwah.
Thank you for such a short notice too. Just a quick admin note. I really believe we should have the facilitators planned out on the sheet 2 weeks in advance. Like, I don't think we should ever come upon the day before where it's like, oh, there's no facilitator there. But I know that requires more volunteers. So on that note, when you're done wrapping up, do you mind if I show, we don't have to record that part, but do you mind if I show the spreadsheet? So maybe we can get some of the other ladies who are here today to add their name somewhere on the sheet.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Do it in an open forum. So, yeah, definitely.
And I have a prayer request, if I may, please, when we go before Yahuwah as well.
Go ahead.
I've been kind of getting really attacked on my job, and they just made it mandatory for us to work every Saturday until further notice. And I went before Yahuwah, and I went up to my manager, and I said, look, I cannot do that. And Yahuwah covered me. That's why I'm here today on a Sunday, because Yahuwah covered me and allowed me to, because I stood up for his Shabbat, he allowed me to be able to work on the Sunday instead of the Saturday. But the attacks have been coming, and I know it's not by mistake.
Yeah.
So I'm asking for prayer for Yahuwah just to continue to cover me on this job, or if he's taking me away from this place, so be it. But just that he would continue to cover me so that I can honor him even in my workplace until he sees to do differently.
Hallelujah. Yes, we're gonna pray and wrap. So Milo wants to wrap recording. I think it's a good place to stop so we can close out in prayer. Did anyone else want to add anything to the topic or the word study? I think we are good, Milo, so you can stop recording.
She can't hear us, by the way.
Oh, I see you put the message in there. I think we did good on timing. I was trying to look at the time and not get too carried away, but we're going to go ahead and close out in prayer. If anyone wants to close out, let's have Milo stop the recording first, though.
I could pray.
Okay. I don't know if you wanted to have it recorded.
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay. All right, ladies. I love you all. I